Lit.
Talk about, dude. Okay, so
and we are live.
Yeah, we're live. But here's the thing. So, real quick, because we were talking about that, like, if you, like, I'm sure you can't like pull your dick out on YouTube, right? But if you like jerk off while your guest is on there, that's pretty fucked up, right?
Oh yeah, that's definitely a no-go for sure.
Yeah, like if we invited like Megan or Levy on the show, I'm just fucking around. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Keyboard Warriors, presented by RepTheWarriors.com. My name is Eddie Law. That's Fred Kirby. That's just and we are talking some perverted shit for the show, but it's all good.
Hey, first off, Eddie, the links you sent out, they might be fucked.
Why?
I think I clicked one of the links, and I think it took me to the last show we did.
Oh shit! I changed it. All right. Well, I tweeted out the direct YouTube link anyway, just in case.
Okay, cool beats.
So we're good. Yeah. So I'll tweet it again anyway. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to our Keyboard Warriors / 223 pre-fight show. I guess the craziness of this last week, and me, Fred, and Jesse went live on. I think it was on Monday. Talking
Sunday, wasn't it?
Sunday? Was it Sunday or Monday? It was April 1st. Sunday, right? Sunday. So. We talked about Tony Ferguson pulling out, Max Holloway hopping in there for the title fight. It's been a couple of days. It's real. It's real, Fred. It's fucking real. And so now this is what we're dealing with. A 6-day notice Max Holloway against a full camp Khabib. And it's kind of a trip if you think about it. So your thoughts, Fred, now that you know it's real.
Oh, man, yeah. I'll be a fucking monkey's uncle, Jack. It really was real. I almost don't know what to think about it now that we know it's official. I mean, at the end of the day, it's an intriguing fight. The UFC, they were kind of in a damned if you do, damned if you don't situation, right? Like if they had just scrapped the fight, we'd all be crying about that. If they had hustled up Nate Diaz, we'd all be crying that Nate don't deserve the shot. Same thing with Eddie Alvarez or any lightweight they could have hustled up. The only thing that people would have really been satisfied with is if Conor came back and fought, dude. But come on, man. Y'all got to be realistic. There's no way. Look, and people want to hate on Conor. Man, Conor probably would have took the fight. Motherfuckers forget. Conor's the same dude that fought Chad Mendez on like 2 days' notice. Bruh, that's not Conor's MO. The UFC is never, ever in a billion years going to do that fight with Khabib and Conor on 6 days' notice. Would they make a lot of money? Sure. But think of all the money they're going to miss in the meantime, not being able to promote that particular fight properly. So, the UFC probably didn't even offer that shit to Conor.
But that's not true, though, Fred.
What do you mean?
That's not true because think about what was it, UFC 200 when they got Brock Lesnar out of like, what was it, like barely like 4 days notice, basically? Even though they were kind of working on it a little bit like beforehand, but they basically pulled him out last minute because John Jones failed that drug test. And they needed somebody big in that like main event spot. So you can't say that like the UFC is above pulling somebody that big of a star on. I mean, it's still like, what was it? It broke on Sunday. So what would have been 6 days of promotion? The UFC is just this huge machine of like, promotion. And if they kick that thing into high gear, I mean, they could sell the hell out of a pay-per-view if they really wanted to. Now, I agree with you. Conor would not take this fight without having a full camp just because of who is attached to this fight. But I mean, I wouldn't put it past them, telling Conor, hey, come in, we'll do the promotion, we'll get you paid, and we'll do this damn thing.
Nope. Completely different scenario, big time. There's no fucking way. Conor now is completely different than Brock Lesnar then. Brock Lesnar was a star, but he hadn't fought in the UFC in a month of Sundays. He was not a champion, and he was not coming off a boxing match against Floyd fucking Mayweather. This one's different, man. This time when Conor comes back, they need the time to promote him. And I disagree. I think if all things being equal, if Conor was in the right shape, which I think he is, I think Conor would take the fight himself. I just think the UFC needs more time to promote Conor's return after that Floyd fight. This is different, man. Brock's a big star, but at that time, he wasn't quite the star he used to be. He wasn't a champion. Conor's a completely different animal at this point. Long story short, though, I'm good with the fight. I'm good with Max and Khabib. At the end of the day, fuck it. Like it's about as good as an alternative as you're going to get just to answer the initial fucking question before we get stuck on Conor's funny ass.
Well, okay, but let me ask you this: you mentioned a couple names there. How hyped would you have been had they given the shot to Brian Ortega? Would that have been another name that you think fans would have been happy with?
Honestly, not as hype as I am now.
Sure.
I mean, I'm hype, but Max is still that dude. I mean, Brian Ortega's, you know, he's getting there, but Max is the guy that just beat Jose twice. You know what I mean? Like Max is the champ, the undisputed featherweight champ. So that would have been good with Brian Ortega. And if they couldn't have lined this up with Max, I'd have taken that fight for sure. But Max is still, all things considered, kind of the best choice, low key. Like,
I mean, think of it this way: if they want title fights in every pay-per-view now. That's the pattern. That's obvious, right? But for some reason, like not some reason, but if they lose a title fight, and they lose, they lose Khabib for any reason, or the Khabib fight, and you bump up Joanna versus Rose, still a good fight, still a pretty good card, but it doesn't have that kick. And they've had such bad luck in the last few months. Not that they can't afford to get another, like not as awesome card as it was. But if they had a chance to save it and keep it as fucking, as crazy as it is, they went the right way. You bring Brian Ortega in, you bring a contender. You bring Max Holloway in, you bring a champion and a chance at history. That's all he's talking about is history and legacy and being the second, double champ and all that. So I think it's a great move by the UFC. I'll tell you this: if what Eddie Bravo was saying to Rogan was true, I think yesterday, which was that Tony was going to make millions off this fight. Yeah, I bet you Holloway's going to be making some bank, win or lose. He's going to be making some money. So I have no reason to doubt that he wanted this fight for sure.
And let's put that out there quickly too. I mean, the name of this show is Keyboard Warriors. We like to kind of, most people go, don't fighter bash. That's kind of our thing. We don't mind fighter bash. We like to have a little bit of fun on the show and not be a bunch of fucking tight asses. But all that being said, let's keep it funky for just a minute here before we start calling Tony a pussy. And look, yeah. I was just saying that it does sound, ridiculous that he fucking moves the wrong way and twists his knee. But you just said it. Look, Tony was set up to make literally more money he was a champion coming in, so he gonna get a taste of the pay-per-view points, and he's fighting Khabib in this kind of master, really, really bigly anticipated fight, and they got a great card below him. Like, he was going to get more money for this fight than he would have on probably the whole rest of his career. Like, that's how big this. So, as crazy as it is, the dude's not fucking faking it. He's not phoning it in. His knee has got to be fucked, in order for him to actually fucking bow out of this, which is just insane to still think that it happened. But I mean, what the fuck? It has to be true.
Dude,
well, and think about it.
Go ahead.
He didn't go to one doctor. He didn't go to two doctors. He went to three.
Right.
He got 3 different opinions, and all 3 of them are like, nah, dude. Like no doctor in their right mind was gonna be like, yeah, we'll kind of patch you up and put you in there. Like, he was looking for a way to still make this fight, knowing that he would have been compromised. He still wanted to make this fight. Like, on Sunday, I said, the way he was acting, he pussed out whatever. That's such a sarcastic take from me, because Tony Ferguson is a guy that if you told him, hey, I'm gonna show up at your house and we're gonna throw down on your yard, he's already out there, doing push-ups, jumping jacks, whatever, waiting for you to show up because he's ready to throw down with you no matter what. Like, he's the type of guy that's just down for the fight, So, like Fred's saying, it's one of those things that you feel bad.
Oh shit! Did he go silent?
He did on me too.
Yeah. All right. Well, see when he comes back here. But look, you there?
Yeah. Sorry.
Oh, we lost you at the very end. You feel bad? What?
Yeah. I don't even remember what I was saying.
I get what you were saying, man.
Yeah.
I mean, the idea at the end of the day is Tony's not bullshitting, and we know that he's devastated that he had to be taken out of his fight. Lost a lot of money.
Yeah. Basically, yeah. That I mean, you feel bad for a guy that has put in all this work and everything, and he gets his opportunity finally to be the champ, you know, quote unquote, according to the UFC, this is for the real title. And he could have solidified himself as a champion, a true champion, and he doesn't get that opportunity now.
Well, fuck that. He could have became a millionaire. You know what I'm saying? Like, he could have got that bread, dog. So that's what makes me know. Like, motherfucking money talk. I think, look, none of these guys are scared, right? They get beat up all day, bro. Everybody wants to get fucking paid. You could take the Sage Northcutt. Fuck CM Punk. CM Punk will fight, goddammit, Melvin Manhoof for fucking $10 million. I mean, you know, what's the worst that happens, right? Like, he was going to get fucking paid, and now he ain't. Right. That sucks.
The dumbest thing people ever say about fighters is, oh, he's scared. He's scared of him. He's scared of that. No, it's not worth the money to fight that guy. Right? Nobody's ducking Khabib Nurmagomedov because he's a bad, you know, he's going to kill them. They're ducking him because they're not getting paid enough to get their asses whooped, and they fucking know it. Okay?
Right. So, anybody takes that fight for the right amount of money. And if it's, you know, if not, they're trying to do the right thing for their career in order to make more money down the line. You know what I'm saying? Like, fuck that. I take an L here and it's going to fuck me on more money. I take the right fights. I get a couple W's. Then I get that big payday. You know what I'm saying?
Definitely. All right. Shout out to everyone in the comments here. Chino's in the house. Uncle Hank. UC's here. Joy Tremendous. What up? Segjana was good. Raider. Yeah. Fucking everyone's here.
Hey.
Sound engineer. Oh, I got you. Okay, cool. Anyway, yeah. So now obviously the fight's gonna be, you know, Max and Khabib. Co-main is still Rose and JJ. And from what I saw, the highlights that I didn't watch the whole press conference, but the highlights that I saw, Joanna's been a little bit humbled now. She didn't talk as much shit as she did last time. Fred, that a good thing? You think it's a good thing? I take it as she changed a little bit. As she came in talking mad shit, I'd be like, oh, she didn't learn anything.
I mean, it's hard to say. You know, I mean, clearly it seems to be a good thing, but who knows if it'll amount to anything in the cage. You know what I'm saying? I don't necessarily think that it was luck or it was her not paying attention the first time. We'll see. Maybe I could be wrong. Maybe she did underestimate her a little bit. Look, after you get starched out like that, you gotta have some real stones on you to come back and keep talking that yin yang. You know what I'm saying? So this is appropriate. I think she'll definitely be more focused.
Oh, sure.
I think she'll be a lot more careful, and obviously she knows that Rose has that potential to starch her. But that becomes very interesting too, right? Like, you know, we could see an extremely focused JJ, or we could see an extremely timid, unassured JJ. You know, has she ever been knocked out before? Like, even in her Muay Thai days, had she been like finished like that? I know she's got some L's.
Yeah, didn't Carolina
did she knock her out?
I'm not sure, but I'm pretty sure she's taken some L's.
Oh, I know she's taken L's, but has she been knocked out? Is what I'm saying. Has she been finished like that? Because if you ain't never been finished, you know, you can take an L, but be like, yo, you didn't. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like that's how I would be if I was a fighter. Right. Until I actually got finished, I'd be like, fuck that. That don't count. That's a judge decision, Jack. We keep fighting. I'm going to win. Like, you know, until you get knocked out or you get submitted, then it's kind of like, okay, you got to eat that humble pie then, Jack. So, you know, that could fuck with her. She has never been finished in her career before. And having been finished for the first time, now she might come back and she could be a little gun shy. Not saying she will be, but we don't know yet.
We'll find out. We'll got to see. This is going to be a confident, you know, an even more confident Thug Rose coming in the cage with her. So now Rose knows she can finish her on the feet and on the ground. And I think she said, "I'm gonna knock you down. I'm gonna take your back and choke you out."
You know what I like about Thug Rose? Now, I could be wrong about this, but Thug don't strike me as somebody that will get overly cocky or confident. I feel like Rose will come into this fight the same way she came into the first one, like. I don't think she's going to get cute at all. She still may lose, but I don't think it'll be because I don't think we're going to see a Luke Rockhold Michael Bisping scenario where Thug Rose comes in hella confident and just gets clipped or something. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think she will approach this fight exactly like she did the first go round.
Who's everyone picking for the fight in the comment section? Let us know. UC and Raider are taking Joanna Jędrzejczyk to get her belt back. That's fuck it. We could pick this one first. I like Rose, man. More ways to win, and this time I think she'll do it by, if not a decision win, it probably by submission. I don't think she'll knock her out again, but could be wrong. Who you there, Jesse? Who you picking?
Yeah, I think I'd agree with you. I think it's always a person that loses that has more adjustments to make. But I mean, it was such a fast fight. It's not like she learned a lot, and her only real thing that she got from that was, oh, my weight cut was bad, and now this weight cut is supposedly better for her. So, it's basically we're gonna get another look at that first fight without that knockout. So now it just goes down to who's got the more tools and who's just better. And I agree with you guys. I think Rose has evolved to be that better fighter. She's taken the losses that she has before, but she learns every time that she's gotten way better. So it just comes down to that. And I think Rose might be able to be the better fighter on that night.
What are you thinking there, Fred?
I tell you what, man, I completely agree with everything y'all said. And for that reason, I'm picking Joanna.
Yeah.
Every time I think I know some shit, I come to realize I don't know shit. So I think you guys are dead right. So what's going to happen is Joanna's going to come in and do exactly what everybody thought she was going to do the first fight. Shut down all Rose's takedown attempts and just slowly beat the piss out of Rose for about 5 rounds.
Hey, look, she
probably.
She could. You never know. Fuck.
Right. Picking fights is it's
the dumbest thing ever, honestly.
Right. You can sit down and break down fights all day long. That's fine. But the dickheads out there that hang their hat on picking fights, you're assholes. You're assholes because there ain't no science to this shit. There's no way to ever really fucking know how a fight's going to play out, man. That's what makes this fucking sport or whatever the fuck it is that we watch so interesting. Guys can fight 10 times in a row and you never, or girls, and you never really know how that shit's going to pan out, man. This fight could go a fucking billion different ways, man.
Yep, exactly. So, all right, another fight on the card besides the main. We'll talk about the main event. We'll pick it last. But Chiesa Pettis, Michael Chiesa against Anthony Pettis. This is an interesting fight. Anthony Pettis has good jiu-jitsu. Hasn't used it a whole hell of a lot. Right, he's been like doing a lot of stand-up fights and stuff. His striking is it's great, but coming out of that Duke Rufus camp. But Michael Chiesa is I don't think he's ever fought for the title. No, I'm pretty sure he hasn't fought for the title. So Chiesa is he's got a name in this one, right? Anthony Pettis is the name, not higher ranked. He's ranked I think 3 spots lower than Chiesa, but it's a good fight, and it should be a fun fight. And Fred, who are you picking?
I hope I'm not wrong in this one, man. Very rarely do I kind of get attached to fighters, and if they are fighters, they're usually old school cats that have been around for a while. Anthony Pettis is one of those guys, man. When I saw him was it a triangle or an arm bar that he submitted Benson Henderson with from the guard?
He got on him by arm bar, and he turned it in an angle to where Benson had even if Benson had waited a tap, it was going to break.
I mean, there was a point in time, man, where I thought Anthony Pettis was going to be, it was kind of, for me, Anthony Pettis was a lot like the Machida era. Like when he did that to Benson, I was like, that's it, boys. 55's locked down for a while. Like, I think Anthony Pettis has all the fucking talent in the world. He's just one of these cats that has to put it together on that night. I think that he's a bit of a front runner, and when things don't go his way, he doesn't make good decisions like in the cage on the fly. But all that being said, he's got the talent, man.
100%.
I think it's his fight to lose. If he comes out and fights right, I think he beats the fuck out of Michael Chiesa. I think on the feet, it's not even close. And on the ground, Anthony's more than competent enough to not get submitted by Michael Chiesa unless he gets hurt by him on the feet first, which should never fucking happen. Right. That being said, Anthony Pettis has a knack for losing fucking fights he shouldn't fucking lose.
Exactly.
So it's hard to say, man. I'm going to go with Anthony Pettis because I'm a Pettis fan, and I think he's just got all the offensive firepower to win. But if he fucking doesn't hurt him early and Chiesa can start wearing on him in the 3rd round, he could fuck around and get a late submission, man, because I feel like if Anthony don't do what he wants to do, he tends to wilt kind of late. And it hurts my feelings saying that, but goddamn it, it's how I feel.
Yeah, and unfortunately, he's 3-3 or 3-2 in his last 5. Just got submitted by Dustin Poirier at I think in November last year, and then he beat Jim Miller by decision. I think in July last year. The loss to Mike Holloway at 206. You know, that one where they ended up bumping him up to be the main event.
Which in hindsight don't look so bad.
It does not look bad at all. Does not look bad at all. At 145, where he doesn't belong, and against the now champion. Fair enough.
Right.
So anyway, so yeah, Jesse, who are you picking?
I'm gonna go with Chiesa. I just think that I as well was a huge fan of Anthony Pettis for a long time. Mm-hmm. It just seems like he's so shop worn. He just seems like that old school fighter that has just taken too much damage over a long period of time, and it's starting to catch up with him. I know he's still a young cat, you know, he's still super young, yet he fights kind of like an old fighter. You know, he's kind of stiff, you know, he's got to get his rhythm down. It just seems like he just has been too long in the game, in my opinion. That being said, I think the biggest problem that we have here is that Chiesa is the type of guy that is just a grinder. And I forgot who was talking about that, but Anthony Pettis has a real problem against grinders. You know, just this grinding style of, you know, just wearing on you and just, you know, kind of beating you up in these little positions, like, you know, against the cage, on the floor, everything like that, and just zapping his energy. And Anthony Pettis is not that type of fighter. He's the type of fighter that's explosive, likes to put on a show, and if it gets slow and just grinding, he kind of checks out. So I think this is Michael Chiesa's opportunity to shine and really, you know, move on to the next level. I wanted to make a correction. Sure. You're right, Fred. Joanna had never been stopped in any of her fights, even Muay Thai. She has, I think, four losses in her record, all by decision. And this is her first loss in MMA, so she's never been put out. So you're right, that is a big problem.
That's interesting. Exactly. I mean, maybe it won't mean shit, but it could affect her greatly. Like I said, if I was a fighter, I think taking an L wouldn't affect me as long as it was a close fight, at least in my heart. Even if I could give myself that fighter bullshit logic, like fuck that, I got the best of him in round 3. But if I got put out, I think that next fight I might be like, ah, shit, I am human. Yeah. Like, damn, motherfucker, I fucked around, got knocked out last time, Jack.
Yeah, and a little bit on that. The homie Sec on the YouTube comment said Valentina only beat JJ via decision. So yeah, he's confirming that. And all of her losses were to Valentina Shevchenko in Muay Thai.
Right. So there you go. So another person, and she got knocked out by her.
And that's a fight we might get, especially if Shevchenko's able to win the 125 title next, and then Joanna moves up, you know, from this one. So we'll see. Raider says we'll see what Showtime shows up. Talking about, you know, Anthony Pettis. And she says, I think she's going with Pettis on this one. She agrees with you. Uncle Hank says RDA beat on Pettis for 5 rounds and couldn't make him quit. That's a good point. And as far as the grinder thing, I agree that he has a hard time with grinders unless he catches them early, the way that he caught Gilbert Melendez. Melendez is a grinder, right? And he caught him with a guillotine choke, if I'm not mistaken. So you're right. Yeah, he has a hard time with grinders for sure.
But remember that first round, he was getting mauled.
He got fucked up. Yeah.
He definitely was not looking good in that first round. I was there for that event live, and I mean, it was not looking good for Anthony Pettis there.
Yeah. UC's taking Chiesa as well. I was a huge fan. I was super happy for Anthony Pettis when he won the title because he did it in Milwaukee, and he looks up. He goes, "This is for the people in the nosebleeds." And you saw like the genuine happiness out of him that he was, you know, champion. He was the first I think MMA fighter to get a Wheaties box, for crying out loud. So he accomplished a whole lot that nobody talks about anymore. And when he retires and he's going to Hall of Fame and all that, they will talk about that shit for sure. I'm taking Anthony Pettis. It's about goddamn time, to be honest with you. Chiesa's coming off that loss to Kevin Lee. That was a weird fucking loss. Where I think he didn't tap, but that's just me. But Pettis has fought like higher caliber opponents, in my opinion. So I like his experience in it. And he needs a fucking win. Like, he needs a fucking win right now. He loses tomorrow, Saturday night, relevancy's gone. And you could, you know, I think he said not too long ago, I'm not going to be a gatekeeper. You're a gatekeeper if you lose this one, dude. Because at that point, you're just a name. So, yeah, that's where I'm at with that. So I'm hoping Pettis takes that W. All right. Another fight that's on this card, actually the very first fight of the main card, Al Iaquinta against Paul Felder. We haven't seen Al Iaquinta in a minute, right? Anyone know?
Yeah, it's been a long time.
He's selling houses. What's that?
I thought
think he had one
recently.
fight.
Let me find out.
Like a year ago or something.
Was it that long ago?
It's been a while, man. At least like 8-9 months or some shit.
April last year, almost a year. April 22nd, he beat 2017, beat Diego Sanchez by knockout. He's on a 5-fight win streak. But
right. It just spans a long time.
Very long time, dude.
Well, remember he had that whole injury, and then the UFC insurance wasn't going to cover it, and then he had that whole falling out with the UFC. And then he went into realty or whatever he's doing over there in New Jersey.
Then he became a real estate agent for the Jersey Shore.
Yeah.
But I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I like this fight.
It's a good fight. It's a good fight.
Love it.
Honestly, this one alone is like one of those fights that you're like, if they were charging you $30, just to get in to watch this fight, you'd be like, all right, yeah, here's my money. Because this is going to be a firefight. So I'm pretty happy with this fight. And I think we're just going to get to see if Al Iaquinta is really the guy that he talks himself to be, right? Because he says that he's the best guy. He's the one that, everybody should be afraid of. Everybody ducks him, blah, 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 blah. So, I mean, Paul Felder is a stiff competition and he's a striker. So we're just going to get to see how good his game really is against a guy that's that high level. And what I especially like about this fight is that Paul Felder has gotten a lot smarter as a fighter, being a commentator. And, you could just see his evolution in his game just because now he gets to observe a lot of fighting. He gets to really study the game. And now he's just becoming just such a more complete package. So I think Paul Felder is going to win this fight.
All right. What about you, Fred?
I'm going to tell you something right now, Jack. I love this fucking fight, man. This is a great fight. And as long as fucking Al Iaquinta doesn't go back to selling houses after this, it's extremely relevant for the division too, man. The winner of this fight, in my opinion, is the dark horse at 55. Whoever wins this fight, I feel like could potentially be champion one day. And quite frankly, might not be that far off. If fucking Al Iaquinta wins the fight, he's kind of right there. You know what I'm saying? Like, he just needs to stay active. That being said, it's kind of hard to pick Al in this fight because he's fought like once in 3 years or some shit. I mean, he's looked good, but that was also against Diego Sanchez, who, let's fucking be honest here, is fucking long in the tooth, to put it fucking mildly.
Yeah, he's done.
You know what I'm saying? So I gotta go with Paul Felder just off being the more active fighter and shit. You know what I'm saying? But one thing I gotta give this fight, one reason why I really love it, it'll be a great fight. It'll be entertaining to watch for a fight fan. Like, neither one of these cats is going to lay and pray. Neither one of these cats is going to be afraid to engage. They're both strikers. They're both aggressive. This fight will be extremely entertaining and fun to watch. Perfect way to start off the pay-per-view and relevant for the division, So I'll pick a Paul Felder, but like if Al Iaquinta just snuffed him in the first round, that shit wouldn't be no shock.
Right. Al Iaquinta's on a 5-fight win streak spanning from 2014. Rodrigo Dam and Ross Pearson both finished by TKO. Then he TKO Joe Lozon in January 2015, fought again in April 2015, where he went to the split decision against Jorge Masvidal, and then didn't fight till April 2 years later, where he knocked out Diego Sanchez. So the lack of activity there is kind of alarming. That's why I like Paul Felder in this one, because he's been active. Now he is on his own little streak. 3 fights in a row, I believe, 3 wins. Alessandro Ricci, Stephen Ray, and Charles Oliveira all finishes all within the first 2 rounds. So he's gotten a lot better. He's gotten a lot smarter. Just like Jesse said, if you watch him on the broadcast, he's gotten smarter. He can break down tape even better than he used to. So
who did Paul Felder take an L to?
Francisco Trinaldo in 2016 by TKO, but it was a doctor thing.
Okay, there you go. There you go. Because he was really surging before that.
Oh yeah, he had 2 in a row. Darren Cruikshank and Josh Berkman both.
And let's be honest, we all know that Trinaldo's on fucking horse pheromones and everything too. He's roided out of his mind. Stop it.
Come on, poor Trinaldo.
Oh man. All right. And Renato Moicano against Calvin Kattar. That's a fight right before Rose and JJ. Any thoughts on that one?
Yeah, it'll be a fun fight, but you know, I think this is one of those fights where they just kind of thought this is the fight to catch a breath.
Yeah,
I'm sure it'll be a good fight, but you know what I'm saying? Like there for my money, there are fights on you know what I'm saying, the prelims that I'm way more excited in than this fight, just to keep it funky.
Shit, the feature prelim on FS1 is actually not a bad. It's a weird fight because of the names involved. Number 4 ranked strawweight Karolina Kowalkiewicz against number 8 Felice Herrig. To me, it just sounds like a weird fight. Like I never thought we'd see this one. And not that I never thought like maybe we should see Felice against Karolina. It's just, you know,
bruh, I'm so confused. What weight division is this at?
115.
Okay. I didn't know if they moved up to $1.25. These female divisions still need some time to really shake out. 125 is like a confused teenage girl in high school. Yeah. She's got no identity at all, dog. Like I'd be forgetting that 125 is even a real division. And then we got 145, which is basically just cyborg, but kind of a thing. Like we really got to get these female divisions on track, Jack.
How about this? Who's the champion at 125?
I do.
Yeah, I know she's Italian. I know she's Italian. Nico some shit or Nico Valentino or some fucking shit like that.
Yeah, some shit like that.
Yeah, Shevchenko. That's who the fucking champ is. Valentina Shevchenko. She just ain't got her belt yet. That's who the goddamn champ is at $1.25.
That's what I don't like about these tough tournaments or whatever shows. Nico Montano.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah, that one. Okay. She beat, in fact, that's the one where, if I'm not mistaken, that's the one where Roxanne Modafferi fought. She fought for the belt. And I was like, holy shit, Roxanne's going to win this shit. And when the other chick won it, I was like, I mean, okay. She's fights out of New Mexico. So, yeah. So, yeah. Anyway, all right. So, Karolina against Felice Herrig. Who are you picking there, Fred?
I'm picking Karolina. I know Felice Herrig's looked good as of late, but I still can't shake the feeling that Felice is just a gatekeeper for all of me. She's a C+ to a B- level fighter. I don't think Karolina is. I think she's better than that. So
yeah, I think Karolina as well. More experience, fought bigger fights, especially ones against Joanna. And I kind of want to see
better fighter.
Yeah, I kind of want to see that one run back, her against Joanna. But even though JJ kind of won that handedly, and she, you know, Karolina had that one moment. But I don't know. That would have been good to watch again. Jesse, who are you picking?
Since both of you two are haters and went against poor Felice Herrig, who, you know, is just getting hated on because, you know, she's so pretty and everybody just hates her. And poor girl, she just doesn't catch a break, right? Nah, come on. Of course, Karolina, she's gonna rip her apart.
She's not that pretty.
Well, there's a ton of Instagram fans that would disagree with you, Fred.
Oh man, fuck them. Look, the old girl's got a nice ass. I'll give her that. But have you ever seen her eyeballs? Fuck out of here with that pretty shit. She ain't necessarily pretty. Fuck.
Oh shit. Okay. All right. You know. Okay. No, because now I'm looking at a picture to see if I can see the eyeballs. For real. That's kind of fucked up.
She's definitely got some wondering eyes.
I'll say this much. 4 wins in a row. Kaylin Curran, Alexa Grasso, Justine Kish, and Courtney Casey Sanchez. So legit wins. It's just for that division is still pretty damn young. And you're right.
Karolina is a beast too. Like you said, she gave JJ all she could handle. Like that still means something. So yeah, I'm sorry. Felice Herrig's, you know, she's a cute little kid, but she's about to get that ass spanked Saturday.
Yeah. Raider says hopefully Felice gets fucked up.
Raider she's gonna get her wish.
Raider hates Felice. God damn. And sexist Karolina is hotter in my opinion. And HMSG says Joanna is the hottest. I don't know why I'm attracted to her, but I am.
I think a lot of people don't like Felice, especially like a lot of women. Remember, a lot of women fighters really hated her because she was marketing herself in a different way than they thought was appropriate.
You know, JJ is quite ugly, but we got a few females watching, so I apologize for my vulgar tone, which I'm about to say, but I'll bet you she's got a really tight pussy. You know what I'm saying? She's a very small broad, so I bet you she's got a tight little snatch on her, but she's kind of ugly.
Yo, okay, the comments are probably the best thing to read right now. Check this out. So Frederick goes, "Oh, cross that will let you know you're killing it in bed." And then Uncle Hank says JJ has a horse face. HM says, "I was watching her interview on UFC tonight and I got a boner."
Wow. You need to really explore the internet, my friend.
Holy fuck. Okay, that right there was the best shit to read all day. All right, moving on to another couple good or pretty goddamn good prelims. Ray Borg against Brandon Moreno, fighting to be the next guy to fight to lose to Mighty Mouse, especially Moreno. Borg already lost, but Brandon Moreno is looking for his shot against Mighty Mouse. What's up, Fred?
I just wish we could like force Mighty Mouse out of the division at this point. Like, nah, bro, you got to fight at 35. Sorry, you're just too good for 20. Like, because I mean, listen, this is a great fight. Too bad it don't mean shit for the division because nobody can fight fucking Goro sitting atop it. But this is a really good fucking fun, well contested fight for fucking flyweight, man. I mean, for as much as you can get excited for a flyweight fight, this is a fucking good one.
But Fred,
I'm making the Chicano too. How about that, you Mexican cocksuckers?
But don't you think that that's what makes a division so interesting? Sometimes, like when Anderson Silva was at the top, everybody was waiting to see who the guy was that was going to come up through the ranks and beat that guy. And like you said, Goro at the top, you know, when you're playing Mortal Kombat, eventually you figure out the strategy to beat him, and then you beat him, and that's that epic moment where you're like, yeah, you know, when you were a kid, you know, it's like such a happy moment when you finally beat that dude, or like Mike Tyson's Punch Out, you know, for them older cats out there. But I mean, I agree with you. This is one of the best fights that we're going to see. And I still think Brandon Moreno is a guy that could be that guy to beat, or at least give Mighty Mouse the best challenge to date. But man, I don't know. This is a tough fight for me. You know, I feel like Moreno just needs a little bit more time to get groomed here, but it is what it is, and I'm just going to go with Moreno here in this fight.
All right, fair enough. I am as well, but you know, Fred's just going to call me. Yeah,
well, listen, we're all picking the Mexican this time, boys.
Yeah, all right, that sounds good. All right, and then Joe Lozon's fighting Chris. Let's read off all the fights because at that point, like, then to me, the next interesting one is, or at least fun one to watch, is Artem Lobov against Alex Caceres. Like the king. He's going to be a punching back for Bruce Leroy, I think. Or Lobov's going to knock him out like a savage with one hand. Just one shot.
You nailed it. I think that's the story of this fight. Either Bruce Leroy fucking picks him apart at distance, or old Artem lands that one big shot and knocks Bruce Leroy out. Like, this fight goes one of two ways. But again, a lot like Paul Felder and Iaquinta, I cannot see a world in which this fight is boring.
Oh, not at all.
At least we got that going for us. This fight will be entertaining to watch. But I'm picking Bruce Leroy for the record. I can't. As much as I fuck with Connor, I low-key can't stand Artem Lobov. Like, okay, side note. Did y'all see the little altercation with Artem?
Sek just asked about that. He goes, Lobov got slapped up by Khabib at the hotel. Y'all see that?
Yeah, he grabbed him like a fucking drunk nephew grabs you, or your drunk uncle grabs you at a fucking like family reunion when he's trying to like have a man-to-man, like grabs you behind the neck. I tell you what, I kind of get his point just a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Not to sound like too much of a nationalist, but it's like, yo, fuckwad, you're the Russian Hammer. A little bit of respect. What are you fucking in Ireland riding this dude's dick for? Yeah. Connor is real champion. Connor can suck my dick. Fucking the Russian Hammer. We don't know you in Russia. Like, if I'm Khabib, you ain't Russian, motherfucker. Stay in Ireland. Fuck that. You're a sellout.
What the fuck? Hold up. Listen to this.
Christ,
listen to this. Listen to this.
Yeah, Brock Lesnar's coming back. So is this? I don't know when, but yes, he is.
You know, you hear that?
He says it's red panty night when he.
Do you hear that?
Yeah.
Just in case you didn't hear it, everyone knows.
We saw you guys with the Zuffa boxing T-shirt. Is Brock Lesnar coming back to the UFC? Yeah, Brock Lesnar's coming back. So is this? I don't know when, but yes, he is. You know,
there you go.
There it is.
Just broke on about 20 minutes ago on UFC Tonight.
Wait, are we doing the Hawani thing where we believe everything Dana says now, or what? Are we doing?
No. It doesn't mean we have to believe it. I'm just saying that's what he said to DC on UFC Tonight. So, hey, fuck it.
Oh, I wouldn't doubt it. I mean, I think that's probably always the.
Isn't that kind of what we all kind of figured, that by the end of the year, Brock Lesnar's suspension is up? John Jones is back and we'll get Brock Lesnar or John Jones? Isn't that kind of what everybody's speculating?
Well,
not anymore. They're talking.
I don't know about that, but I've always thought that Brock was on his way back.
They're probably talking him against either Ngannou or Stipe.
Oh,
yeah, I know. Still, although it'd be weird to see like DC against Brock Lesnar.
They could, I was gonna say they could do a bunch of fights with Brock, though. That's one good thing about that prick. You can plug him in a bunch of different ways, and it'll be interesting.
Yeah.
You know what? There was an interesting question that somebody asked on podcast. I forget which one. Who do you think got the better of the deal? Was it us getting Brock from WWE or WWE getting Ronda Rousey from UFC?
Are you fucked?
What?
We got the better deal by a country mile. They didn't keep that hoe. They got her after she was beaten and washed up. We got Brock in his fucking prime. He became our champion.
And he's still paying.
And then we still got to prove that shit only takes you so far with Kane. Brock was the perfect storm for MMA, man. It really was.
You can give Brock Lesnar a lot of credit for growing the sport. Just the sport.
And then he lost when he needed to so that the facade didn't grow too crazy. It's like, if you're big and you're strong and you wrestled, you can get a certain distance. But at the end of the day, this is still the real deal. And if you get there with the wrong guys, they'll beat your fucking ass. Like, it was perfect. And I mean, look, maybe Ronda will go on to be a huge star in the WWE, but right now it seems like she's, doing okay at best. There's nothing to prove that she's going to go on to be anywhere near as successful in professional wrestling as Brock was in the UFC and MMA.
I agree with you. And don't you feel like when Brock came over, we got a bunch of those like just airheaded WWE fans that just started following UFC and just started being know-it-alls, but we got like a huge influx of fans that were Brock Lesnar WWE fans, and I think a lot of those still to this day are fans of the UFC. Sure. And I don't feel like a lot of UFC fans went over to go see what Ronda's doing. Maybe some, just to keep an eye, like Mark Ramundi or something, just so he could type something up about whatever Monday Night Raw or whatever. But I don't think they got the influx of fans that we did at that point. Yeah,
nah. I don't think it really works the same way. For some weird reason, I don't think MMA fans necessarily, I don't know, maybe it's just because everybody's heard of professional wrestling. You're either in it or you're not. And with MMA, maybe you could just not really be hip to what it was and then discover it and kind of be like, oh shit, this is kind of incredible. This is like the WWE, but real.
There you go. On the comment section, HM saying Lesnar vs. Jones, that's the fight. Raider says, get the fuck out of here. Damn. UC said Dana back at it again. HM saying or asking, do you guys think Brock could beat top 5 heavyweights right now? Legit question. Fred.
Sure. I mean,
I think he could.
Look, can he? Yeah. Would he? It's hard to say. I mean, look, man, Stipe just took Francis down at will. To suggest that Brock Lesnar could not get a takedown on Francis Ngannou's a little silly.
Yeah.
Obviously Francis could starch Brock Lesnar too, but it's really hard to say. He could. He is getting old though too, so that's something to keep in mind. He's not going to keep coming back looking like a physical specimen every time.
Yeah, he's if anything, every time he comes back, he's a little softer. So
right.
Yeah, Jesse, what do you think? He could be the top 5s?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, look at Verdum just losing to a guy that wasn't even in the top 10, right?
Good point.
So I mean, at heavyweight, it's like I think all heavyweights are kind of like wines, like they get better with age, and they really don't seem to lose as much as the lighter weight guys, with age, right? Because at the lighter weights, it's all about speed and everything, and at the heavyweights, I mean, you could have what was it, Randy Couture at 41 years old, winning the heavyweight title, and still almost beating Brock Lesnar, picking him up and everything, still being an old man. So, I mean, I think he could do this for a while, you guys. I still think, you could be an old guy and still hit pretty damn hard.
Yeah. Sek John is saying Brock could probably beat Ngannou with wrestling easy. Frederick goes with, if he can avoid getting hit, we all know his disdain for fist to face. And HM says that would be a fucked up fight. Lesnar versus Ngannou. They should make another weight division for that. They probably should. Gun Death, what up, man? Saying that diverticulitis is a big deal. Yeah.
Yeah, that was huge, man. That was kind of a bummer for Brock too, because actually, man, listen, at the end of the day, too, man, it sounds so cliche, but styles make fights. And Brock has an extremely interesting style for heavyweight, man. You know what I mean? He's in a weird way a bit like, and hold your breath, cocksuckers, but a little bit like the Khabib of heavyweight. The big cocksucker gets his hands on you. He's a lot. Kane was able to get him off, but Kane's also, basically an Olympic caliber wrestler. Short of Cain Velasquez, if Brock Lesnar gets a hold of you, you're kind of fucked. You know what I'm saying? So,
and to be the white knight for Brock here, and at the point that he fought Kane and Alistair, he was already suffering from diverticulitis. He wasn't at 100% as we saw him before that. So, I mean, there's a lot of things that went into those losses,
For sure. You can make that argument for sure. Yeah, everyone's saying what's up to gun death. Haven't been in the comments, man. What's up? All right. And then as far as 223 is concerned, I'll just read off the fights here. So, fight pass prelims, the early prelims start at 6:15 Eastern, 3:15 Pacific time. You got, holy fuck with your last name, bro. Zabit Magomed Sharipov.
That motherfucker's an animal, though.
He's a bad motherfucker, yeah.
Fight, man. Like, he's got a lot of hype, and it's very deserved.
And he's getting a good test right here. Kyle Bochniak is not a bitch.
For real.
It's going to be a good fight. Devin Clark against Mike Rodriguez. Beck Rollins against Ashley Evans Smith. Then Bruce Lee against Artem Lobov. Then on FS1 prelims, now that baseball's back, keep in mind they might put up to the FS2. There's a fucking game going on. So, be ready for that shit. Evan Dunham kicks it off against Olivier Aubin-Mercier. Joe Lozon's back against Chris Grutzenmacher. Then Ray Borg against Brandon Moreno to see who's going to take on DJ next. And Karolina Kovacevic against Felice Herrig in the featured prelim. Then kick off the main card at 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Pacific time. Al Iaquinta against Paul Felder. Then Michael Chiesa against Anthony Pettis. Renato Moicano against Calvin Qatar. Co-main event for the women's strawweight title, yeah. Rose Namajunas against Joanna Jędrzejczyk. And the main event, lightweight title fight, Khabib Nurmagomedov against Max Holloway. We actually didn't pick that fight, so let's pick that real quick. Jesse, who are you picking? Main event.
Main event. After my initial reaction and everything, and going back and looking at Max's record and everything, I gotta go with Khabib.
All right. Let's see, Fred.
Listen, man, this is one of those fights, like most fights, man. It could go either way. There's, we could sit here and technically break it down for an hour and a half and not get shit solved. It's hard to not go with Khabib. Cocksucker's never been beaten by anybody. Again, styles make fights. The cute cocksucker was wrestling bears when he was 9. What are you gonna fucking do? You know what I mean? Like, Max is moving up a weight division. He's taking the fight on 6 days' notice. It's a horrible stylistic matchup. You could definitely make a case where Max Holloway wins this fight, but why try to bother? Just pick Khabib. That's what should happen. I mean, barring, something unforeseen, this is most certainly Khabib's fight to lose.
Oh, for sure. I like bad motherfuckers that step up, not giving a fuck. Even if he's getting paid millions of dollars, hey, do it, man. Especially because of that, actually. But dude, Max is a gangster, man. Max is a gangster. And like we've seen other guys do that shit too. Nate came off a fucking 11-day notice, came in, choked out Conor McGregor. Bisping came in on 2 weeks' notice, knocked out Luke Rockhold. It's not impossible. It's just people are not getting their chances. It's Khabib out of anybody. That being said, I am picking Max Holloway because I always go with my heart picks, honestly. And you're right. We could break this down all fucking day and night, and we can still all be wrong about who we pick. So
right.
You know what I mean? So yeah, but I'm taking Max Holloway in that one, and it'll be pretty crazy. Hey, Gary Costin, what up, man? He's in the comments here. Frederick says, I think Holloway's about to do something big, says Frederick.
Spider-Man.
What up?
Black Spider-Man, Gary Costin.
Yep. And then I remember that, yeah. HM says, I have a legit question. Do you guys think Bisping beating Rockhold was less likely than Max beating Khabib? Less likely?
No.
Hell nah. Shit.
No.
I'd have bet my motherfucking firstborn child that Bisping didn't have a shot in the dark.
Mm-hmm.
I actually give Max a chance at winning this fight. I was shocked as fuck when Bisping's cockeyed ass knocked out Luke Rockhold.
Especially because we had already seen that fight before, and this is the first time we're going to see these two guys go at it.
Right. I mean, you never know with this one. Khabib should win, but Max is on a fucking tear. So, like, if Max all of a sudden started doing real good, I wouldn't be that fucking shocked.
For sure. Oh, HM says I asked it wrong. Yeah, we got you, dude. All right, that's gonna do it for our 223. Real quick, they made it looks like the TJ Dillashaw defending against Cody Garbrandt is official for 227. Jesse, your thoughts?
Great, finally, let's get that rivalry over with, and let's move on with the division.
Who are you picking?
Man, that was such a good fight the first time. Yeah. All the emotions were running, and you know what? I think Garbrandt can do it, and I think we could get a trilogy out of this fight. So I'm gonna go with Garbrandt.
All right, Fred, who you liking that fight?
Definitely a pick'em fight, but I tell you what, I don't give a fuck about this fight because I wanted to see one of these pricks fight DJ. So fuck this fight. I'm vetoing it.
So you're like, fuck this fight. I want to see the other one. Gotcha. I think Cody Gabrandt's gonna come back, change a little more, humble, and hopefully talk less shit because he was awful at it. And he's gonna take a decision win, I think. So,
all right, TJ Dillashaw, just to go against you, pricks.
Yeah, fair enough. All right. Anything else you guys want to talk about MMA related before we get to Jesse's question of the week?
Nope. Let's do that.
Or combat sports related.
Oh yeah. Do we want to quickly talk about Canelo dropping out of the Triple G fight? Because I do have to go here soon, guys. So we have to get this
very quickly if you want to talk about it.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that's it. That's us talking about it.
All right, there we go.
For any of you that follow boxing out there, fucking Canelo popped for eating
Twice.
Tainted Mexican cows.
Yep.
So he dropped off. So the big mega fucking Triple G Canelo rematch will not be happening now.
Yo, I guess we didn't pick. Sorry, we didn't pick the co-main event. Thug Rose. We picking Fred.
Thug Rose.
Jesse.
JJ.
All right, so 2 against. All right, 2-1. UC says, "Shake my head, Canelo atrocious." Look, man, fuck. He pulled out of that bullshit, and I get it. I totally get it, but it's disappointing as fuck, man. Mate, that fight card was gonna be good. I think, especially if they got a better judge in there. But what are you gonna do, man? All right, Jesse.
Oh, okay. So I was gonna ask you guys how literate we all are, but I want to ask you a quick question first. Is there a movie that you defend and enjoy and really like that everybody around you hates?
Man,
you are probably the only fan of this film, and you're probably the only one guy that watched this film probably in your whole group. I will start as always. My film is Death Proof. A lot of people hated it. A lot of people don't like it because it's kind of it's more of a character-driven movie, and a lot of people consider it one of Tarantino's worst films. But I love that film to death. And my number 2 is Batman versus Superman.
Oh shit!
Movie, you guys all suck.
Fred, anything? I think I got one. Maybe one.
I don't know. I can't really think of. I mean, I like some cheesy movies. I really like Jingle All the Way with Arnold Schwarzenegger, the Christmas movie.
That's a classic.
Yeah. That is.
I don't know. I don't know if people don't enjoy that. Yeah. See, I think people enjoy. I like cheesy movies. I don't think I really like. I can't think of nothing that I like that people don't like. If it is something weird, it's usually like a cult classic type thing where most people don't like it, but a whole bunch of other people love that shit. So I don't know. Not really. Not off the top of my head.
Yeah. For me, it's between 2 films: Mortal Kombat, the very first one, or Batman Forever.
Wow.
Piece of shit with Arnold Schwarzenegger.
First Mortal Kombat.
I'm gonna go with my first Mortal Kombat. What's that?
Ooh, you really might be the only one that like. Seriously.
Yeah. Let's see. HM says I saw The Wedding Singer 8 times in the theater. God damn. Gundeath says Mean Girls. UC says Interstellar for me. LOL. None of my friends like it.
I heard that was a great movie, actually.
Sex says anyone. Yeah, Seg Johnna says, anyone ever seen Class of 1999? Weirdest movie ever. I'm gonna look that up now. That sounds weird. And then HM says Mortal Kombat is an awesome movie. See, there we go. All right, what's your book question, sir?
All right. So yeah, because we are literate. I wanted to ask you guys, what is your favorite book? And if you have a book that you're reading currently, what are you reading currently?
All right. Well, I'm going to go first on this one because mine is very easy, as I have only 2 picks for this. I have actually only ever...
Caveat, the Bible does not count for it, please.
Oh, yeah. Well, believe me, the Bible is not one of the books I've read. Bits and pieces here and there, but not the whole thing. I've only actually read 1 book all the way through, so I suppose I am barely literate. I can read. I just choose not to most of the fucking time. But recently, I was possessed to read a book called The 48 Laws of Power.
Oh, I love
I
that.
kept hearing about it from everybody, so I actually got that book, and I actually really enjoyed it and read it. And ironically enough, I liked it enough that I fucking got another book. So the second book I'm ever reading of all time, I actually happen to have it right here too, little fucking thing. The Book of 5 Rings.
Dude, you took my favorite book.
So yeah, this is I am only about a quarter of the way through it, but this book is fucking badass.
Dude.
I enjoy books like that, I guess, like books that you can lose for like philosophies on life and ways to approach your life and your lifestyle to make you a better, more efficient person. I tried to read like, you know, shit that I would be interested in, biographies of fighters and shit like that, and I don't like none of that shit, man. I just can't get into books like that. Like Game of Thrones, right?
Yeah.
I'm a huge Game of Thrones fan, and I know this is gonna make me sound like a complete moron. I don't want to read the fucking books, Jack. I want to see her. I want to see them titties. I don't want to read pages about it. I want to see her getting bent over and fucked like a dragon. You understand me? I don't want to paint the images in my head. But with this shit, it's tight.
Dude, Miyamoto Musashi was one of the baddest motherfuckers ever. Read that, and then once you're done with that, look up Dokado. It's 21 Principles for Life, that for basically living by yourself or living alone, something like the laws of walking alone. Check those out. Those are pretty cool.
I will say, after I get through this, I think the next book I'm going to try to read is that cat Jordan Peterson's book.
That one's good.
12 Laws of Living Life or whatever the fuck. Yeah, that I think that might be my next endeavor.
Yeah, that's a good no, dude. I highly recommend that. I got that on audiobook. I listened to it 3 times now. It's fucking good.
Nice.
And
you guys sound like strippers. I swear. Like you start posting inspirational quotes, like self.
Goddamn right. Yeah. So I actually like military books for whatever, like military stories. Like the ones that are based on true stories, at least. And so like Black Hawk Down's one of my favorite books, but I really enjoyed reading Band of Brothers. Like I know they had the TV episode and all that, or series. I actually enjoyed the book quite a bit, so I recommend that one. The one I'm reading right now is gonna be funny. One of my teammates wrote a book. This guy, my teammate's name's Bob Faby. He wrote a book that just came out like 3 weeks ago, called Not My Jesus. And it's basically talking about like, the thought, the what people think Jesus Christ is in this day. I'm not religious whatsoever, right? But the thought, first of all, it's my teammate, so it's important. But he explores what Jesus means in this day and age, right? So I'm looking. I'm only like 15 pages in, but looking forward to seeing what that's like. All right, in the comments we got Gobble Gobble Mood Tractor says Gun Death. That's what I've been reading lately. And then UC says currently reading Recovery by Russell Brand, and favorite book has to be one of Lee Chipp's Jack Reacher series. Can't pick one though. HM says, bro, I'm reading that right now, literally. And then HM says he's reading The 5 Rings right now. So
hey, there you go.
And then what up?
No, go ahead. What was
Gun Death says join us tonight for Keyboard Warriors book discussion live on YouTube.
It was only the last 10 minutes, cocksucker.
Yeah, the fuck. Anyway, Jesse.
I'll give you my favorite fiction book is Jurassic Park. I read that book. I still have like a copy of it that I like read every once in a while. For Fred, I read this book and I really enjoyed it, and I would recommend it to anybody that has kids, or Eddie might have kids in the future. It's called Man Made: A Stupid Quest for Masculinity. It's the writer. He actually took an MMA fight. He did a lot of things just trying to find out what being a man is about, and just his journey is very interesting. It's not just bro science and all that. It's really, really good book. And then what I'm currently reading right now is Astrophysics for People in a Hurry. Neil deGrasse Tyson book. So.
Tyson. Yeah, there you go.
Nice.
Connor Ryan says Muay Thai Peace at Last is a great book. I might actually check to see if that's if I can get that one. Sounds interesting. All right. Anything else you guys want to throw out here before we head out?
Nope.
Nah.
That should do it.
Follow everybody on all the things at Kirby_MMA, at Swan1983, at Elo31, and at Keyboard MMA. Hit up RepTheWarriors.com, get yourself some gear. SpicesPros.com to keep supporting us. Appreciate that. Shout out to everyone. What up?
Come back next week. It'll be fun next week.
Oh, hey, fellas, especially the fellas. Come back next week, motherfuckers. Y'all don't want to miss this shit. Y'all want to miss this shit. All right, I'm telling you right now. The guest is a fun one. Woo, woo. All right. Shout out to Chino, Uncle Hank, UC in the comment section. Joy Tremendous here earlier. Sek Jana, what up, dude? Appreciate you coming by. Raider, of course, as always, appreciate you coming by as well. Who else are we getting here? We got Frederick in here. We got Gundez was in here. HMSG, what's up? And Gary Coaston, Black Spider-Man, hanging out with us for a little bit.
Before
Ryan, what up?
Fred's podcast this week. Finally, a sane voice to the podcast. They had a woman.
Oh, the lady, yeah.
Yeah, we had a female guest this week, which was very sobering. Actually, she was very fucking well articulate and a nice bit of estrogen for the podcast too. So worked out great. It was a good show.
There you go.
Tune in.
All right, appreciate you guys. KeyboardWarriorsMMA.com. All right,
there it is.
Come by. Everyone have a good night. Depending where you're at, good morning, good afternoon, depending where you're at on the planet. And good night, Wilshire.